I'm Aaron Furman. I started playing in 2006 and I started playing competitively in 2012. The first time I saw any success with a deck would be Dino Rabbit, YCS Atlanta 2012. I got my first top. My favorite format would either have to be Necroz or Draco Zoo. Necroz it was the first time I started being consistent, and I would like either bubble the event or top the event, and it would always change a lot, the whole format. Draco Zoo, I did see the most success. I won my YCS in Draco Zoo. I went to Worlds in Draco Zoo format. My least favorite format would have to be Performapal format in 2016, YCS Atlanta, and even the formats after that. I didn't feel like there was much control in the Performapal, like the Pepe format. Maxi was legal, but Wavering Eyes was just too strong in the mirror, and everybody would set up all these boards where you just couldn't play. And it's kind of the same with the Pendulum FTK deck. Like even around that time, people would just make these boards that like you couldn't break, or you'd get FTK'd and there's no really hand trap that could stop that. My favorite deck would have to be like the 60 card BA Shadal deck that came out in 2014, Dallas I believe. It was just a really fun deck. It was very similar to the Danger Thunder deck that Jesse made, that's like Fairy Tale Snow like turbo deck. It just had a lot of starter cards and it would just gain you so much advantage and had a good matchup all around. My most hated decks, or like, I don't really have a hated deck, but they're mainly decks in the formats where it usually just relies on floodgates, like the Clifford deck when Skill Drain was at 3, Vanities was legal. Even with the newer versions of Dracos, there was just relying on Prime of the Monarchs and Skill Drain and all the other floodgates like Summon Limit. It was just hard for the other decks to play through that. My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card is Dark Magician because he's the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. My favorite event is Worlds 2017. I got the Worlds invite through Pass Down. The person who got first place at the WCQ couldn't go. It was a bummer getting 5th, but even being able to go, I was just so hyped and like it was so surreal. And when I got there, like I've always wanted to go to Japan. It was the first time I went to Japan, and it was just a crazy experience. Definitely one of the most nerve-wracking tournaments I've been in. I got feature match round 1 and I was just like shaking, my heart beating the whole time, and I was just like scared the whole time playing it throughout the tournament. And everybody was kind of more secretive. When we first all got in Japan, no one really like talked to each other about Yu-Gi-Oh! So it was kind of weird for the first like day or two, but once the tournament got started, everyone like kind of relaxed more. A tournament I would travel back in time, probably change a deck, would be 2016 WCQ. I ended up playing Cosmos. That was definitely not the right decision. I wish I played either Domain Monarchs or the Pendulum deck. Especially the Pendulum deck. I didn't really get to play with Kieran until months later in the Melfo deck, but Kieran's just an insane card. Being able to summon that and Apex every single turn, and like no one really had that many outs to it. Like some BA players did play anti-spell, but most of the other decks like couldn't out like so many disruptions coming back every single turn too. At UDS Chicago, I played against Corey Roca, and Game 1 I was playing Metal Foes. And he's playing Blue Eyes. Game 1 I just summoned Jalgan and he conceded. Game 2 he summoned Blue Eyes Alternative and anti-spelled me. Then like I had set a monster, then I like set desires, activate desires. Next turn draw Jalgan, and I'm like, oh, this is the only way like I can win. I like normal Jalgan, discard card, destroy the alternative, and just pass to him, and he drew a card for turn past me. I switched to Jalgan defense mode and conceded because he sided all of his outs or his potential outs to that because he was going first and he thought he could just set up a board to where Jalgan couldn't out it, and with anti-spell up I couldn't use most of my deck. Craziest way I lost at YCS South Carolina in 2015, the YCS right before Necroz came out. I played against Jesse Cotton when he was probably 15 or 16 years old. He was playing BA, I was playing Satellers. Another mistake of a deck to play. He had no cards and I had like very few cards. I didn't have that much life points, but I castelled back his BLS, so he's left with 0 cards, and BLS is at 1 in this format, and I had a alti-air for next turn, so I can just like next turn attack for game. And he draws, the card he draws is Blackluster Soldier, and he summons it, kills my Castell, and attacks me directly for game. So I was under 4,000. That was just very unfortunate of a loss. I have quite a few players I looked up to, especially when I was kind of growing up in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. The 2 major ones that stand out for me is Robert Boyajian and Joshua Schmidt. For Robbie, he always played a unique deck. Like he played Worms, he topped with Worms, Electromite FTK. He always had like these weird decks, and he was always consistent with all these weird decks, these weird tech choices like Giant Rat and Geargia, and he would always do very well, very consistent. For Josh, we were around the same age, and we both got our first top with Dino Rabbit, and it was just cool seeing someone who was as young as me being super consistent throughout all those years, and even now he's super consistent. The Yu-Gi-Oh players I hate the most, there are many. There's Matt, there's Silverman, there's Jesse. The newest time rule, it's been out for a while, but it still affects the game now, especially like when Sky Striker Kana came out. When the rule first came out, I was playing Goki, and that deck like never went into time. Like you would OTK your opponent or like set up full combo before then. So time wasn't really a factor to me until kind of the fall of the next season, when it did become more of a factor. I did play Goki for some, but like the format did slow down a little bit. When Sky Striker Kana came out, I feel that it made the game worse. People thought Hayate was bad. When you would like Hayate or try Rush with like 15 seconds left, attack directly for Hayate, Kana just doesn't even give your opponent a turn. I feel cards like that are super unfair. People slide deck cards for time. It is kind of scummy, but there are just some games you can't, like, you don't know if you're gonna win or lose, and those cards might come in handy later, like Starlight. Even like, I saw a person at Regional side Kana in their Orcus deck just because you can engage search Kana. It's just ridiculous. There are benefits by playing online and in real life. I prefer real life, but it's hard to get in testing time in real life because you have to set a time and a group of friends. With online, you can just always have an opponent. You have this giant card pool. The thing about online, like Dueling Book, is really useful is printing out your deck lists and being able to make a deck list that fast. You print out a deck list that's very neat. GX is the main series I watched when I was a kid, and I do like the original series a lot, but I definitely watch more GX than the original. And when I was a kid, I was an elemental hero duelist, so I like GX a lot more. The best character has to be Yugi Moto. He never gives up. He never gives up on his friends. He always tries to play the game out as fairly as possible, and he's seen a lot of success. How much time do we have? The one I probably regret the most is my very first YCS finals. It was YCS Origins 2016. I was playing Demise Cosmos. I was playing against Jake Feeney in the finals. And I should have 3-0'd him, but like, just nerves and everything. Game 2, I thought I could attack and go for game, but when I was going through all the motions and I got down to my last play, which was Farm Girl, that would search another Dark Destroyer and attack for game, I forgot that I normaled the Farm Girl originally and banished it originally, so I couldn't do that when I could have just like summoned 2 Slip Riders, popped both of his back rows, made Pleiades or Cyber Dragon Infinity and kill his Dante, or like return his Dante and just be in a really good position, because I believe I had either a Solemn Strike or a Cosmojo. Yeah, then game 3 he ends up summoning Terror Top. I strike, he summons Terror Top, he makes Dante, I think I Chaos Trap Hole it or strike it, then he summons 2 BAs, special summons 2 BAs, I strike it, and then he summons another 2 BAs, and his Dante sticks, and a couple turns go by, and I just lose card advantage from this one Dante. And if I just Cosmojo'd away his Terror Top or Talkin' Tomborg, he's just left with that, and he has like 4 BAs in hand, and he can't do anything with the BAs at that point. My favorite ice cream has to be cookies and cream.